1317 Sports presents Get It Off Your Chest podcast. Sponsored by no one.
So you went to NC State, home of the Wolfpack, right?
The Wolfpack, go Pack.
Go Pack. So you're now let's go to that. Let's go to that the college time, because as you preface, like, oh my, hey, listen, that's where a lot of craziness. That's where a lot of them
down for real.
You had to make a stand and fight for your right to be a human being and a person that you want to be. So let's start in, you're at where does a lot of this occur? Is it at NC State? I would imagine.
It was both, because so at that time, NC State allowed their students to do extracurricular activities outside of schools, outside of that school. So let's just say if you was a student at NC State, right? If you wanted to be on the football team at St. Aug, you could. If you wanted to play football at Shaw, you could.
I got it. Was like a sister connecting school. I got you.
So my homegirl, who was Sharmia, I love you. You my girl.
Shout out.
She went to NC State, and her boyfriend was, I'm gonna say, a quarterback or a wide receiver for the team. Very well known.
Okay.
She was on the dance line with me when I was at St. Aug. So that's kind of like how I was able to kind of like take classes at NC State, because she was introducing me and was kind of like helping me get enrolled in the school.
Okay.
So that's how that happened. But yeah, like me and her, we came from the same dance background, like very like doing a thing. Yeah. And I remember in college, that's when I had my first boyfriend, official boyfriend.
Right.
And he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. And I appreciate him for doing that, because, mind you, when I say that I didn't grow up, I grew up learning about the birds and the bees, but I didn't do the birds and the bees.
Got you. Right.
That was taken away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went off to college, I'm being introduced to all this stuff. I'm seeing people doing drugs. I'm seeing people do all this type of stuff, having sex, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
And at this point, you're still Justin at the time.
I'm Justin, but now I'm starting to really get into my research.
because it's bringing back your journey. It's reminiscent. It's nostalgic, and so you laughing because you like, I'm going to college to learn about school, but I'm also learning about myself.
Cutting up when I say, and I'm gonna tell you this, I probably had about 2 boyfriends. I had one at NC State, right, and then I had another one who was a Kappa.
a noob.
St. Aug. And mind you, at this time, it was that whole thing about like, gay boys being online and stuff like that whole thing. And so it was just, he was one of them. He was trying to hide who he was.
Yeah.
Just so he was very popular, like very popular. But it was just like, we dated, and he tried to hit me with that stick, the stick that they always be dancing with.
Yeah.
I shut it down. So I said, lost your damn life.
You talking about the fraternity stick though? Like he
tried to hit me with that stick. I guess he was trying to be a little, he wasn't showing like his man side. I mean, he was very masculine, but I think like if he was trying to pursue me in that way, as far as like wanting to do X, Y, and Z, it didn't,
Yeah.
because
Right.
that trauma back from
Right.
like I love you dearly, but baby, we gonna have to take it slow. He was
Wow.
slowness, so I had to just let him go. I ended up dating the guy at NC State, and that was when, like, okay, he kind of opened up this new person in me, I guess you could say, and I
Yeah.
appreciate him for doing that, because I probably would not be this confident if it wasn't for him. A part of me would not be as confident as I am right now, because without him.
Because now, when it came to this guy NC State, was he open about his sexuality?
He was no. He was actually a football player.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna say who this is, because he
No need for it.
NFL, but I'm not gonna bring that up. But
Yep. No need for
I
it.
will say that he was DL. I think the only person that knew was my best friend Sharmia and her boyfriend, because me and Sharmia, like, we were like always together. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
saw her, you saw me. And so he was his I think her boyfriend was the wide receiver there.
I got you.
So he only knew about me and him, but also too,
Because of
it made it easy, because I wasn't a full-time student there. I was a part-time student there.
right. So, and they ain't see you all the time, so they can.
It's kind of like, you know what? Like, we walk together all the time around campus. I mean, also to that's a big school. So,
Correct. It is a big.
like,
That's a big.
wherever your nearest Walmart where you stay from your home, that's how far it was.
Wow. Wow.
Half a
That
dozen.
is right. Right. That's nothing. You can jog there. You jog there. So you learn. You end up learning from your boyfriend at the time at NC State,
Going through
and
life, I'll say. Just
going through going through life. Taught you during his time with this gentleman at NC State. It shows you how to be more confident and bold with and with yourself,
right.
right?
Just love
All
myself.
right,
Yeah.
love yourself, right? So now, when you're at NC State, and you're still, you know justice just Justin, excuse me. And when is it that you're like, okay, like, I'm not justice, like, is this in college? And before we go there, actually, when it came to your college, we've talked about your identifying and finding yourself in college, when it came to your person. When it came to the the ugly, when it came to the ugly at the college, was that the most ugly that you've seen people, if it even it happened to you, at the
Um,
university?
I didn't have to deal with discrimination, and I say this to say, when I was a freshman, um, I was so at this point, I haven't went to NC State yet. I'm still a student. So my freshman semester, um, I was very quiet. I didn't stay with the freshmen. I was late moving in. Um,
Mm,
so
got you.
that's a funny story, actually, but I was late moving in, and so the school didn't have any more freshman dormitories. So
Ah,
they just moved me to the back while the upperclassmen. So um when I was there, I was very quiet. Like, what you wearing now? Your business suit?
yeah,
Wearing that, going to class.
huh.
With my little book bag on. I'm about 5'3", child, trying to be as like masculine and as unrecognizable as possible. But like, it wasn't going nowhere. It didn't last long, because people already knew that I was the only boy at that time on the dance line at St.
Mm,
Also made noise, and I got, a spread in the Raleigh newspaper, I guess you could say. because that school never had a boy on the dance line.
Mm.
And so I'll just say this: my band director, his wife, and my dance teacher, they all went to Norfolk State. So in their time, Norfolk State was the ish. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Norfolk State.
I was blessed and just very appreciative to have a band director of that time to coach this particular band when I was on there. And so fast forward, when I ended up dating my first boyfriend, the new,
Yeah.
that's when like I started to be like, okay, something is a little different, because also too, there wasn't a lot of openly gay people on campus. I had it was like only like 2 boys that I knew who were gay, and we were all like, we formed a clique. So we all stood together. We were like the only 3 gay boys, but we weren't like openly about it.
Got you.
It was
Right.
not until the spring semester, when the school brought in the new freshman class, and then all hell broke loose, because now you get the flamboyant gays and all this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and they over here treating me like crap. I'm getting backlash. Here. What do you do? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like when I tell you, they were so upset with me. They were like, why aren't you getting into your femininity, bitch, and all this? I'm just like,
Yeah.
not from that. Like, I don't know all that is. Also,
Right.
is at this time when I was growing up, like, people think that when a boy does like ballet or get into like the dance world, like, you're around a whole bunch of gay people. That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
You're right.
I mean, nowadays it could probably be a little bit different, because you have a lot of kids now who just embrace who they are and know who they are at an early age. But it's like, when I was growing up, I wasn't worried about, all of that. I mean,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So
It's just crazy as time as each generation. Right. This just the more and more it's the more and more that is available. It's just more available. It's just more acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, right. And so the younger the generation, the more of them are about that life generation.
and see
About
what
that.
so to get to the meat and potatoes, I'm so again, like, I'm getting so much, like, I'm not getting like hate or anything, but just within like mind you, I still don't know the gay community within like my college experience. Like, I don't even know like who that is.
Right.
I didn't really find out about the gay community out there in Raleigh until I was introduced into the ballroom scene. At that time, not only was I a part of the band, but I also was a part of the modeling troupe. So here I am in school. I'm literally on the modeling troupe. I'm doing all of these things that I love to do, and I'm not being judged for it.
Yeah.
I ended up being introduced to the ballroom scene, and then that's what I learned about voguing. I learned about runway and just all this other stuff. And so at this time, I had a sidekick. This was around the time when the Blackberries were a thing.
Yeah.
So, um, I remember going to this gay club in Raleigh at the time. It was called Club Body. They probably changed it now, but it was like a hip club. Like, everybody went there. And I remember seeing this girl, gorgeous, just like, oh my gosh, like, uh beautiful. And I remember walking in, and she just, how like when you walk inside like a restaurant, or like when you and your wife is like going to like a restaurant, and like you just feel like somebody like staring at you.
Yep.
So this woman, I promise you, was staring me down. She was staring me down like no other. Like, when I tell you, I couldn't even walk to the right or to the left without her like just turning her head to look at me, and then like it was crazy.
And this is still in college, right? This is when you're in college, right?
Yeah, this is in college. I'm with my
Okay.
friend, just out with my friends. Like I'm like enjoying myself. I'm like
Yes.
into who I am now. But like we're at this bar, well, at this club or whatever, and like they're playing all of the music, like all the hit music and people dancing and voguing and they're just doing all of these beautiful things. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like where was this all my life? And the lady come up to me and she was like, hey. And I was like, hey. And she was like, I'm Jasmine. I'm like, okay, nice to meet you. And she was like, I have a question. And she said, are you a part of a house? And I'm just like, yeah, my family back home in Charlotte. And like, I'm just like, I don't know what this is. And so she was like, no, like, I mean, like, are you like a part of like a gay house? And I'm like, no, what's that? And so I think like, because I was so like unaware of what was going on, um,
Green.
she loved that. Like she embraced that. Like she was just like, oh my gosh, okay, like I have a baby for real, for real. And so she ended up taking me under her wing and she was just like, okay, so I'm going to make you my little protege. And then that's when I ended up introduced to black market hormones,
Mm.
and all that stuff. Like as far as like into my transition.
Got you.
She's the one who literally gave me my first estrogen shot. Mind you, I am not telling my mom this at all. I'm not telling my family this at all. My family don't know jack.
Your transition, your transition. And so I want to stop you there, Justine. While you talking about your transition, you meeting this woman, while you're in college.
Yes.
She introduces you to this world in regards to like I can actually be who I want to be, and this is how I can be who I want to be. But was it while you were with her that you discover who you truly were, correct?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that just for context for where we are. And so
Okay.
yep, excellent. So back to what you were talking about. So she introduces you to this market, and go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, absolutely. So she introduced me to HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. And
Okay.
so but she's not doing it like some of the girls back in the day used to do. Like they used to get pumped with silicone, used to do all this other stuff. It was crazy. But I learned this until after, like years later. But she just gave me like my first shot. She said, okay, come to me every 3 months. And at this point, when you're on any type of like hormone therapy, like you're basically like going through puberty all over again.
Right.
Now
Right.
you're training your mind and your body and your appearance is starting to change. And so, yeah, I'm just like, I'm going crazy.
And Justine, like this is a gamble. This is not a you're not this is not a doctor we talking about, right? Like
Oh,
right, but in regards to some of the procedures and everything that you have to have at a hospital or a doctor, the cost of it is just ridiculous,
it's ridiculous.
right? It's ridiculous.
You're not like a lot of people are not like this is not like New York, like a lot of like the people who are like transitioning or want to transition, they have a lot more resources.
Resources, correct,
So
correct. This is Raleigh, North Carolina.
this is rather than Kamala, but she was actually from New York. She grew up in that era, and she was also like she was considered a house mom. So she took me under her wing. I started walking balls. I started doing all this stuff, and I'm just, I'm being praised, just based off of my look because I had a very distinctive look back in the day. I can't even remember. It was a time, but yeah, I had a very distinctive look, and everybody was just like eating it up. And then I came home, and yeah, that's when I started to actually like, want to take actually transition seriously.
I got you. Now, when you're doing this, you're doing your transitioning, right? And now everybody in the, your family, community, they already knew that you're gay. They already knew you were gay when you were, you're um 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 Justin. They already knew. They accept this. Now this is a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
Now that you've discovered who you truly are, and you start making this transition. So now tell me, like, how did your family and community, whether they supported you on this journey, or some of the, because we're talking about that grandmama who at the beginning when it came to you, right? So how did some of these people at home, how did they treat you when it came to this part of your life in the transition?
Yeah. So when I came home after I graduated and started taking hormones like more seriously, because at this time, I was about like a year on taking hormone
Mm-hmm.
college. And so now I needed to go and do the real thing, like because usually I'll say this, before you can even take a pill or you can do anything, you have to go to a therapist so they can prescribe you, and talk to you about this next phase in your life. This is before the don't ask, don't tell movement and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is probably like during that time, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I went home and I told my mom, like, hey, mom, I can't remember exactly the choice of words I used, but I think I said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
You already know that. Um, I think I told her I've been taking hormones. I think that's how I said it to her,
Mm-hmm.
to become a woman. And she was just like, what? And I just, again, I didn't, it was one of those situations where I think I just said it to her. And she was just like, okay, this is crazy. Hold on, slow down. What's going on? So we
Mm-hmm.
talked about it. And I told her I need her blessing to go to this therapist, because before I could do anything, like actually get my blood taken and all that stuff, so I
Mm-hmm.
can be on the proper medicine, I have to have your permission. Even though I really didn't, because I was already like over 18, but still
Right.
make sure that, I have her blessing. Because anything that I
Yeah.
do, I'm always like, hey mom, what you think about this? Or hey, come, what you
That's
think
that.
about this?
That's that family. That's the
Yeah,
family. That's the family bond you have.
that core, you locked
You
in.
got that core. Yeah. hundred
So,
percent. 100%.
I told her, so she was like, okay. She said, well, listen, I ain't paying for it.
Now,
Hey, damn,
now,
shutting it down before it can even start. So
she ain't.
I went, but I went, but the
Shout out,
therapist
mom.
mom, she was like, honey, your child doesn't need my permission. She already, at this point, she's calling me she.
Yeah. Your mama already.
No, the therapist.
The therapist is already. Yes. Already. Yes. Already.
But she was like, you don't like, I think she was talking to, well, she told my doctor, who I ended up getting, because I had to go through a whole procedure, but she had like the therapist told my doctor that I didn't need therapy. I already knew who I was.
Wow.
It was just a matter of time for me to just blossom.
Right.
'Cause even as a little boy, I always felt very feminine. I always had a high pitched voice. This
Mhm.
wasn't I didn't go through like voice training and stuff like that.
Right. This
Shade
is
to the
this
girls who do. I know some of them walk outside and like it's a whole different picture, but I know for
different.
me,
I'm happy you being real now, because I'm gonna tell you this. I done come across some. I done come across transgender women, and I'm like, man, you ain't like what? How am like still got a whole? They got this right here, and I'm like,
now they okay. Now I would say there's okay. So you have and see we can get into this a little bit because it's like I don't want to touch on it too much because I
Yeah,
feel
well, I don't want the story. I don't want us to get lost in the message at hand.
I'm gonna say it like this. There are okay, so you have people who are androgynous,
Yep.
and then you have what you call a trans man, which is a girl transitioning into a man, and a trans woman who is a man transitioning.
Right, transition to a woman.
Right.
Correct.
So, but yeah, like my mom, she was like, "Well, I ain't paying for it." So I went to the therapist. Therapist told my mom, like, "Hey, listen, like she was already like just embodying her femininity. She just
Yeah.
needed to blossom." So she ended up writing the recommendation to my doctor, and then I ended up finding a doctor in Charlotte. Because at this point, I'm working. I'm making my own thing, and
Yep.
I ended up getting introduced to a doctor, and then that's when they ended up calling me to my doctor's office, and they was like, "Baby, first of all, you need to put some more weight on your bones."
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm small. Like when I say I'm tiny, they couldn't even take no blood because I was so.
Good gosh.
They were like, if we take blood from you, we feel like we're gonna suck you up, and it's like,
You
I had
figure,
to literally fatten up for about a year
man.
just so I can get on hormones.
Wow.
That's my story. That's not everybody's story.
Right.
But I had to put some more food in my
Meat on the
system
bones. Right. Right.
just for me to even start. And then once I got started on hormones, then everything started to happen. I remember I was in the bathroom and I think I was either I was just playing with makeup or something like that. My mom walks by and she looks at me and she said, "Turn around." I turned around. She said, "No, you don't got no damn titties." And I said, me and her just fell out laughing because I was like, yeah,
Oh my.
my mom is a character. I promise. She is a
I,
character.
be,
People
I
literally,
believe it. Like you said, you get a lot of it from your mother,
yeah.
and she sounds like a very strong individual, and just with an open heart and an open mind and a good spirit. And and of course, again, for you to be able to flourish the way you've been able to flourish, after going through the transition. It always starts at home. If you don't feel comfortable, if nobody at home is making you feel comfortable, and how the heck are you supposed to go out here and with strangers to feel comfortable? And
Absolutely.
so I just want to shout out to your yeah, I just want to shout out to your mom, your brothers and your sister and your grandparents and your home based support, because I'm telling you, that matters. And a lot of us are not as fortunate to come from a family such as yours, even though everybody has their own problems and issues. But sounds like love is the premise of your family.
And that's the reason why, like, I feel like, like even when I tell my story, a lot of people are so amazed because they're like, we don't get this. Like, I didn't get this from my parents. And I say, listen, like, I respect, everyone's decisions, and whatnot, but like, this is my story. And I was just fortunate enough to be able to, like, even as a child, my grandmother always told me to treat people how I want to be treated.
You treat it
Treat them
100%.
regardless. And my grandmother, like even to this day, even when I became semi-famous to the world, she was like, "What would Jesus do?" That's always been in her mind. What would Jesus do? And I'm just like, he just want me doing half the shit that people are doing out here in this world. But we not getting into that.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? He want me, please. But you know what? At the end of the
100%.
day, he forgives us over and over and
Over. Yep.
over again. And that's why I tell people all the time, my God is an awesome guy. Okay. He is always in time and he is not through with me yet, honey. If he was through with me, if he was so opposed to who I am, he would have took me out a long time ago.
Yeah, because you got a lot. Your story. You still got a lot to go through, and you still got a lot of people to encourage and to uplift. Justine, this is the journey. This is what we here for. The experiences in life, and so and that's what You know, to each his own. I just don't get a lot of people like we talked about on the phone. Like, you know, some people they make it their duty just to hate. But again, we need hate now. As you said in one of your, it goes back to your catchphrase that you know that he said when they go low, as you heard, as you got from another powerful black woman, Michelle Obama, and when they go low, you go high. And that seems to be the mantra in your life. And I love it. I love it. And so, getting back to the story, Justine. So you get the meat on your bones. You go through, you get the procedures that you need to get. You're taking the measures that you need to take to be the person that you want, that you are, and who you are. And you're this unbelievable, top notch professional dancer. And are you still into dancing during this transition, or are you taking a full break to get your body right, or what?
Yeah. So I'm still dancing, but not as much because I'm gonna say when I was going through this, like through like the process of me like transitioning and stuff like that. Um, I'm also like going through life. Like
Yes.
I'm working full time. I just needed a break from just dancing because I wanted to explore other things.
Yes.
Because now I'm starting to, mind you, I told you I didn't go through like I didn't I was when I was growing up, I didn't have sex, okay?
Right.
I'm being introduced to that world.
Yep.
I'm not indulging in it, but I'm just like introduced to this because at this point I'm grown. Like I'm in my
Yep.
20s, I'm doing
Yep.
my thing. And so um people are starting to find me attractive and like a complete, you know, 180,
Yep.
you know. And so I'm still dancing, but I'm not dancing at as much as
Got you.
I
Right.
um
Right.
fast forward in 2021, that's when a very tragic thing happened to not me, but to someone who I looked up to. She was also one of the reasons why I am doing what I'm doing now. I ended up meeting this girl when I was through my transition. She was one of my house members at this point because I was a house, and a gay house. I'm sorry,
Right,
and
right, and when it comes to the gay house, like, and I don't, I've never heard of this. So this is this is educational for me. Now, this is a house where, of course, like-minded individuals, like person individuals, and it basically is I, so every
it's like a
like
family. Yeah, it's like a mother.
family. Yep, that's
Yeah, there you go.
okay. Excellent.
Your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousins, your great grand, whatever titles you.
Right.
Now I know that I will just say this. Some people who are a part of the LGBTQIA community, they don't know or they don't indulge in like the ballroom scene.
Yes,
So it's very like they don't probably like they probably heard of it, but they don't want to indulge.
I got
So
you.
I just say that to say that I respect everyone's decision because I mean you have people who are part of the community who voted for Trump, but anyway. So anyway,
Yep. Yep.
so we ended up I ended up meeting this girl and oh God, I just when I tell you I hate this story because I get so teary eyed every time, but I'll say it anyway. So she's one of like she was considered like my big sister.
Mm-hmm.
And we were always doing stuff together. Like we would go get our nails painted, like just doing all of the girly things. Mind
Yeah.
you, she was already like years into
Her transition.
her transition.
Yep.
Um She had a husband and all the other stuff, like just very, very beautiful, very beautiful woman. And I didn't know outside of her marriage that she was an escort. I didn't know. Hold on, sorry. I knew that she was a escort, but her husband didn't know.
Oh.
Let me correct myself. So, she doesn't live in Charlotte. She lives in Miami. But she was coming down, because we were having like a big ball.
Okay.
So in the ballroom scene, you have all these different balls and people from different states and like people in your state will come and compete. You win all these prizes. Sometimes you win money, whatever the case may be. You win trophies, all that type of stuff. So it was a big thing going on out here. And so, she and I, we were hanging out. She was coming down for the ball. I don't know. She was never the one to have sex with men. She was always the one who she was kind of like the what is her name? Oh my God. That famous Caucasian woman who married that white old man. He was like,
oh, Anna Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith. Prime example of her, just the black version.
Okay.
So she was Anna Nicole Smith to a lot of the guys. They just wanted a female femininity around them, but she never had sex with them. But this particular situation, we were planning things to do that particular day, and I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna go home, do my thing, and I'll at this point I'm driving, so I'm independent, doing my thing. And I said, okay, I'm going to meet you. Just let me know what's going on. Anytime she would go and meet with men, I never really had to worry about it because she would only meet these guys and they would take her out and just like do all these little things for her, but they would not have sex. This particular day was so weird. It was so weird because I was just like, why do I feel like this warmth that just comes over me. I don't know what it was, but it was just like it was like an uneasy feeling that just kept coming to me. And I kept texting her. I said, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm finna go meet this guy at this hotel." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm getting dressed. I'm excited. Like we're finna go hang out with my girl, just in the city. And I text her like, "Hey, I'm gonna meet you such and such." And so I didn't get a text back. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm sorry. I ended up texting her and I didn't get a message, but she would always send me her location.
Yep.
All I know is that somehow there was like I just got a call from the hotel receptionist that they found her body tied up under the bed, butchered.
What?
And I couldn't do anything but just freeze. And I just was like, oh my God. When I tell you I cried
Oh my
so
goodness.
hard because I was like,
Bruh.
oh my gosh. And the crazy thing is I told her, I said, please be careful because she was using this particular site that she never used before.
Mm-hmm.
She's showing me all the stuff that she's doing. I wasn't indulging in that. Like I was never an escort. Don't ever want to be one.
Right.
To the girls who are doing that. But this is the type of scary lifestyle that they go through. And so the front desk attendant is calling me, called me and told me. So I'm rushing to the hotel, and it was so bad that I couldn't even get into the hotel room.
Whoa.
Everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
But she would always tell me that you need to continue with your career. Don't stop dancing. You're doing a lot for the community. Just be strong.
Right. Just that motivation, that motivational, encouraging. Like she saw something in you,
Yeah, and
and she.
it was just it was so sad because I just so I found out who the guy was, and you know how like when you see someone that they just look like death. He just looked so just scary looking.
Mm,
I think I shut down completely. Mind you, this was like a couple of months before my audition for the big league.
wow. 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 So would you say, Justine? Would you say that this tragedy turned out to be like your wake up? Like, this is it. This is like this was it your the clarity based off of the person that that you lost your friend in this manner, but the most influential, one of the most influential individuals in your life at the time. And would you say like this incident turned out to this tragedy turned out to be one of your uh, uh inspirations in regards to pushing forward into dancing?
Yeah, she was one of those girls like just very carefree and just very protective over me. She made outside of my mom, like my mom was like very like my mom is very present in my life. Obviously
Yep.
my family
Right.
is very protective over me, but it was just like it was certain things that I could not get from them because they didn't understand that I could get sister.
Correct. Yep. 100%.
So
100%.
my sister is very my sister is like always gonna be like that person in my life who saw me first.
Mm-hmm. 100%. 100%.
For for my homegirl, for my sister who tragically passed away, she was just that girl, like, and I was talking to her about this because I always wanted to be, a professional cheerleader. If we're gonna break this third wall, or the fourth wall, I always wanted to be a NFL cheerleader.
Mm.
I did.
Oh, what nice. Wow. So like like even when you were little, even when you were little, right? Even when you like you did at that point, at that moment back then when you were a little kid, you don't know that you're gonna be the person you are now. You don't know you're gonna be Justine. You like I and you like that's what I like that. I want to do it.
Exactly. I think that's just, you know, I've always, I think it's because like when I saw like when people are dancing, how carefree they are and how they get lost in the music. I didn't even know
Hmm.
what the music they were playing. I just got lost in it with them, and I was able to
Wow.
like feed off of their energy while they were up on the stage, and I'm in the audience watching them. So when I'm in this predicament and I'm able to do this, it's a whole different thing. And then on top of that, being a trans woman is a completely new experience. So, but yeah, like she supported me to the fullest. Like I feel like I'm probably gonna be just like her in a couple of months. Like you don't know, and I mean I've just
Right.
and even in that even during that time after her, her I think her family reached out and was like, hey, they didn't know what happened
Hmm.
until afterwards. And so, yeah, but she was definitely a huge, huge support and the reason why I went forth with it. Cause she
Made
always
the
told me,
turn.
you can dance. You always dancing with me anyway, every time we go out. So, she would like, when I tell you she was so carefree, she was like, you would always be jumping up and down the walls, like big sister vibes,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
positive. Just, oh my God, so sweet. When I didn't want to go home, her husband will open up their doors for me and I would stay with them. She treated me like a little sister, but I was
Sister.
like
Yep.
her little daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She was also, she wasn't that older than me, but she was older than me. And then also too, like she was married. So
Yep. 100%. And again, you always can learn. I don't care if you're older, younger, if you open your mind to it, and you can learn from everybody and everyone. So, going back to your as we talk about your cheerleading, because as we talked about during your upbringing, you didn't do any cheering, you didn't do any cheerleading. You were doing dance teams. Go to it,
Dance. Yeah, I was doing
right? You was
dance.
doing dance,
And even when I
right?
was
And
young, I played football and I played basketball. But I guess we can say this because I feel like the story would make a lot more sense if I just break the fourth wall. So
yeah,
out here in Charlotte, I'm sorry because I know I told you not. I told you I'm not gonna do it, but whatever. I don't even care
yeah,
anymore. Um,
yeah. If you decide that you don't, I can take it out.
you're not gonna get in trouble. I'll say that you're not gonna get in trouble.
All
But
right.
I would say this: my family used to collect and used to work security at the Panther game.
Okay.
And so they used to always bring home back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, you should because you're not old. You remember like they used to have the magazines up and like the
The programs.
yeah, the program, but it would be like in a magazine form. So like you're able to see all of the plays.
Yes. 100%.
Up around the time, if you heard of the story about Ray Carew,
Uh-huh. Of course.
all of that. All of that.
Mm.
So
Oh my
from that
goodness. That
time, that's a whole nother story for a whole
that hey, listen, y'all, hey, for y'all who don't know, y'all need to look up Ray Caruth and that whole story. That was just, hey, what be dead he'd be dead in Tennessee in the trunk if they ain't good gosh almighty.
they used to bring home the program books and they were like shaped like in the magazine. And I used to collect every last one of them from like the first when the first team happened.
Yep.
I used to
Yep.
collect the when my brother used to. And I was flipping through it one day. I just so happened to stumble across the cheerleader team. And I was like, oh my gosh, these girls are so pretty. But also, too, mind you, I'm young.
Yeah.
So, and even to make the story a lot more interesting for the viewers, it was one year I was younger. I think I just got done playing football for um this little league team that I'm a part of.
Okay.
Um, it was the same year that Julius Peppers, I guess, got drafted to the team. And
Yeah.
so I
Long
ended up
time. That was like 2001, 2000 or something, like 2001. Yeah.
I remember going to the football clinic that the organization was having.
Yeah.
And I went to the football camp and I had a blast. Mind you, I'm the only little feminine boy out there, but honey, I was making it. I was making hi. I was out there just having a good old time. It was one particular moment. It was this one particular moment. So they had it set up like we had lunch. We all took like these big old buses that would take us to their like practice facility at that particular time. Um, and they would have us like in different areas. Like you had people who were like learning how to kick, learning how to like learning like plays from like the wide receivers or the quarterbacks or whatever. And I remember like it was this one section I was learning how to kick a football. And it was the cutest thing, but it was like I tried to kick it and I ended up falling. And so all the other kids was laughing at me. And then like all I see is like like just some I think it was like some different players that just came up to me and it was like, oh no, no, like you got it, like you got it and you try it again. And then like after that I tried it again and I kicked the ball. Field goal. First time ever I felt like I was doing something. But again, that wasn't my
That was
judge,
your thing, right?
But I mean, just to have that experience,
Yeah.
being, always being, you know, like with that organization for so long, growing
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
it was a full circle moment for me to now be, a cheerleader, for them because I remember my first game. We set up in the 500 level. I wasn't worrying about those damn players and what they had going on. I'm looking at the dancers.
The cheerleaders.
The cheerleaders, I mean, they were great. They were great, but I feel like the year I made it was like, honey, we were like the icing on the cake. Like we was and so like just to again, it was a full circle moment. So fast forward to me sitting in front of my computer. I told mom, I said, hey mom, listen, I want to try out for the Panthers cheerleading team. Back in 2017, I tried out for the Charlotte Bobcat.
Wow. Now, Justine, when it comes to up until this point, now you've been doing your side jobs when it comes to dancing and stuff. But like when is it like, okay, hey, what age did you're like, hey, I'm actually going to go and try out for a professional basketball or football team? When did it just all of a sudden like this is my bucket list type deal, or talk to me?
That's a good question. Honestly, so back in the day, there used to be an age requirement. Not all teams are the same, so I don't want nobody, who watched this be trying to give me slack. So I'm saying right now, please don't come for me unless I said for you. Every organization is different.
Yeah.
Some of them will start like they don't mind you trying out when you are, I think, 18 to 32. Some teams say, hey, listen, 18 too young, we're going to do 21 to 35. Gotcha. Now, when I tried out, it wasn't an age limit. But I'm like, back in the day, it was. So even if I was 18 and wanted to try out, I couldn't do it no way because, yeah.
Yep, I got you.
It just kind of just came it didn't come out of nowhere. I just kind of like buried it, because like I didn't have when I didn't make the Charlotte Bobcats, well, we were called the Lady Cats. When I didn't make that team, for whatever reason, I don't know why, let that defeat me. So I just told mom, I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna try out for them and see what happens. And then she was like, hey, listen, well, you know what happened with with the Bobcats,
right?
like,
Now, I'm sorry for stopping. So when it comes to the Bobcats, when you're filling out the application, like when it comes to your gender, did you have to state that you were, could you say you were female? Like,
so at that time, I was still male.
Okay.
Even though I was transitioning, at that time, I didn't get all of my documentation.
I got you.
I was still like fully new into like this whole entire like situation.
I got you.
But also too like I was like a beginner.
Yeah, newbie. You're a green
To the game. So I just said male. And so when I went there, I guess they had guys try out in the past.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it. So I'm thinking in my mind, when people tell me this, I'm thinking like, well maybe they weren't good as me.
Right. There you go.
So then when I go and try out, and I'm like, okay, so I never really got an explanation as to why I didn't make it, but I'm just gonna assume they just didn't allow boys on the team. And that's okay.
That's fine. Yep.
No, it is what it is.
It is 100%.
And so now when I tried out for the cheerleading team for the Panthers,
and how long and how many years but the Bobcats were 2017. This is 2021 now, right?
I'm gonna say 2017, 2018, around that time.
For the Bobcats, and then 2021 for the Panthers.
Yes, for the 2022 season, yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's get back to it. This is great. Hey, Justine.
No, I got you. You listen, you're doing your job. I love that.
This is just, again, I'm just,
you're amazed at my story. I understand.
Everything that you've shared up until this point, and we get into 10:30. I'm getting to the good stuff, because this is the the title, one of the, and I'm gonna go with you over the titles of our episode. This is a cheerleader's journey, a professional cheerleader's journey. But and we'll talk further, because I want your input on how you want me to label this interview,
No,
right? Because I want the
see you.
thing is,
I ain't gonna see you wrong.
the thing is, I want the awareness. I want so you can motivate the others, to
So
others, girls, boys, trans, like everyone. So that's why I talk to you about. But you unbelievable story up until this point. I mean, good gosh, girl. I'm telling you, girl. So you built up enough confidence and enough enough of confidence and go and do the tryout for the Bobcats. And now you built now you are like, you didn't even make it, and now you about to go to for the gusto. You about to go for the gold. Like, this is a team that you've grown up, you've saving their programs, and you like, I want to be a cheerleader for this team one day. And you didn't even, and typically people like, they go off of, they're able to build off of that from having some success in regards to, okay, I tried the Bobcats and I got accepted. So you didn't even you didn't get chose for that. So now you got to build up enough nerve and enough confidence to attack in the NFL and NBA. When it comes to awareness, like, the NFL is totally different than the NBA. The NBA is they're more in tune to a degree to, like, so discrimination, social, in social injustice. They brand themselves with that, no hate, XYZ, right, and racism. The NFL is typically slower when it comes to implementing change for the better. And so, because it's a bunch of, right, it's a brute man sport, and you got the owners and the coaches and this. So this is like unbelievable
yeah.
for you to go after your dream. So go ahead. I had to stop, and I had to just put that on out there,
No, I'm with
just to fill
that
in.
because I think a lot of people just think like it's so easy to just get in, and I tell you it's not. But yeah, my mom was like, "Well, you know what happened to you with the Bobcats," and I was like, "Yeah, but I think just for clarification, I don't know the reason why I didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, you don't.
I didn't get that clarification
Right.
afterwards. So I just said, you know what? If I don't make it, I don't make it. But I think also to the question to answer your question, the reason why I didn't give up is because even when I was growing up and I was dancing and I was going out and doing auditions and stuff like that, I would always get the auditions. Like, not just about porn, but I'm just that damn good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. I was always getting it, so I was kind of confused as to why I didn't get this particular audition, but nevertheless, it happened. Fast forward 2021, 2022, I try out, and when I walk in here, now mind you, I'm submitting my video because
Yep.
at this point this is prelims. You have prelims, you have semis, yeah, you have semis, then you have final.
Okay.
So I do my video. I learn the choreography. I do my video, and I just introduce myself. And I'm like, "Hey, my name is Justine. Blase blase. I do the dance, and I think I said at the end of the video. And by the way, I'm trans. And then the video stops. It's
Wow.
really funny. Uh, but it's like it's so funny because like the coach at the time, she literally emailed me and was like, "Hey, I haven't made a decision yet or anything like that, but um, it's okay. Like you didn't have to say that. Like it's okay." So I was just like, "Okay, here we go. I think I'm getting somewhere." So I got an email like literally like the next day, I made it to semifinal. I made it to semis. I was like, oh my God, okay, this is the point where I meet the other people. So now I'm in front of, I think we had about like 280 girls and boys.
Sheesh.
We were all in this hot ass high school gym. When I was so damn hot. I said, get me out of this sauna. Like, and you can imagine it was so many white people, but they bring on the heat too. So
yeah.
I'm just like, I am so hot. Mind you, I walk in there, and at this point, I think my mom was preparing me. She was like, okay, so how are you gonna dress? Like what you gonna do? And I said, that's a good question, Ma. I don't know. But 'cause, I like messing with her. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, Ma, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I ended up okay, when I went, it was the day, 2 days before semifinals. Or maybe like the day before semifinals. I shaved all my hair. I do this,
Wow.
want to. My hair could trust me, my hair gonna be just like yours in about 2 weeks. No, I cut my hair just because I want to cut my hair.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to be funny to anybody who was dealing with the hair loss, but the comment I'm getting people saying, "Oh, congratulations! I'm so I hope the cancer is not affecting your body." What? But that's the whole. So
Mercy me.
I cut my hair off. This is my own thing, and
Yeah.
I remember my coach didn't tell me this at first. She told Elle Magazine because Elle Magazine had the interview with me. And she was telling them that when I walked into the audition space, she was just like, "Oh my God, who the fuck is this girl?" She was like, "I don't know who she is, but she is rocking that hairstyle." Mind you, this is a white lady trapped in a black woman's body.
Hey.
Like just so freaking talented. She saw me and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, like, yeah, she's rocking it." So I go in the corner and I'm gonna say every time I know as a dancer, whenever you go to auditions, it's okay to like speak to people like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wasn't like that. I speak to you and then I'm going to my own little corner. I'm trying to get my mind in the zone because I
Yeah.
know that we have to I know that we had to bring the choreography that we did in the video to to semis, I'm sorry. And then we had to learn three other dances that entire those 2 days because semifinals was like that Friday and Saturday. So I'm in the corner stretching and I just see a whole bunch of people just looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, am I like I know the Black Panther just came out, but baby, chill out. People just staring at me and everything, and I'm just like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to slice the knife for people in here. But no, like I saw some of my people, my
Yep.
black
Yep. Yep. Yep.
people were just like, hey, I'm Rocky. Shout out to Rocky, Kiasha, Ebony, Brandy,
Shout
Chris.
out.
I love y'all so freaking much. See, Damo. Yeah, they came over to me and they was just like speaking to me, just so nice, just very welcoming. And there was
Yeah.
some white people too. Shout out
Yeah.
to Peyton, Haley, Reagan, who else? All of y'all. Y'all know I love y'all down. Um, Emma, M&M's, I love you. They all came over to me and just walked over to me and just speaking to me and just, like, where you from and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm from Charlotte. And they were like, oh, we thought you was from like Africa or somewhere. I'm like, no, bitch, calm down. You know those conversations that you have to have. Um, so we all get out on the floor. Mind you, we in this tiny high school gym.
You all right?
280 people in this small gym. I mean, it ain't that small, but it's small enough.
It's small enough. Yeah.
We had to. The coach at the time, she was like, "Okay, listen, I'm gonna everybody come out on the floor," and she just broke us up in half. She said, "I want to see the choreography that I sent you all." So she said, "Group one, y'all sit down. Group two, y'all out on the floor." I think I was in group two. I do the dance. And then that was it. Then she said, group 1, come out on the floor and then do the dance. And then at this point, we all are out on the floor at this point because now we have to learn. If I'm not mistaken, I think we learned one dance that day. I'm sorry. We learned one dance that day. That dance tired me out. Mind you, I didn't dance for 6 years
Got
before this
you.
audition.
Wow.
When I tell you, Scout,
You coming off the couch.
the couch, I've been eating damn sardines with crackers, Teddy Grahams, all
Yeah. Coming off the couch.
when I tell you, I was wearing black. I was wearing black and silver. I remember I had like this little cute little top, and it was black and silver. When I tell you, Scout was glistening with sweat. I was so daggone high, so it was higher. I said, "Oh my God, I got to get the hell out of here." But that took about like 4 hours. We were in audition for
Wow.
4 hours, and then on Saturday we had to come in and we have to learn another dance. And the one thing I like about Shondelay is that she's one of those women that she is um she's like above her time. If that's even a thing, like
Yeah.
she's
She's
so
ahead of her time. Ahead of her time.
yeah, there you go, ahead of her time. She's just so welcoming of everybody. Like she doesn't care who you are. If you can dance,
Yep.
that's who she wants in front of her. If you have a good
Mm.
personality, that's who she wants in that uniform. If
And
you
that,
you know that field, she wants you on that field.
that's Chandelier Languette, right? And that's Chandelier Languette. I just want to let you know, Chandelier Languette. Um, I talked to Justine, a few days ago to make sure I said that right. But so this is your coach, Chandelier Languette from Canada. From what you say, she from Detroit. You said she from Detroit, but she says this and she quotes this. And it's funny that you said that because I have a quote from her that she had said about you in a Huff Post, and she quoted, "She's a phenomenal performer, without a shadow of a doubt, and that's the kind of point of our team. I want people on the team that just command you to watch them." End quote. And that was from Chandelier Languette. And so so that kind of it's just I had to you segued into that. I had to, because she said that about you in that article. uh, don't matter where you I want people who are passionate, who can, as she said, I want people on the team that just command you to watch them. So I think about you talking about your walk, and then you get, you in there, and you're in there, and people like, where you from? You exotic? You from Africa? like you, So, but yeah. So back to Chandelier and your audition.
Yeah, so this is the second day. This is Saturday. I was a kid who grew up watching The Wiz. I was a kid who watched Chicago. I was a kid who grew up watching Grease.
You better say the 5 heartbeats. You better stop playing.
No, listen, I was a kid who grew up watching I ended up watching the Roots, but even Titanic, and even though I'm so mad it took them 3 hours to get to the
It
situation.
took three. Hey, listen. Hey, you ain't lying. But hey, this is a question though. What about the 5 heartbeats? You know about the five?
But I like Temptations better.
The 100%. I'm just listen. I just had to test you, Justine. That's one of them cultural questions.
No,
If you
want to talk about it. What's the other movie? Called The Wood.
yeah, the wood. Saying these cultural classics. I always got to test. I always got to test people's gangster now.
And I say that to say, oh, The Players Club.
Yeah, yeah.
So many good movies, but
Yeah, so many.
is to say when we found out that we were learning choreography from the wig.
So it's over. It's over. It's over. So it just
happy. When I tell you every white girl in there was like, "What the hell is the Wiz?" I said,
Wiz.
"Wizard of Oz,
That's
please."
the Black Wizard of Oz, baby.
Oh,
100%.
hey.
100%.
Oh my God.
100%.
Yeah. When I tell you my coach, oh my God, like she is just so amazing. Like just so amazing. So we learned the choreography and then we ended up learning another dance, I think. And then this one girl, she got injured. My sister, who I called out, Kiasha, she ended up I think she messed up her knee. Her knee came out of socket and she had to get surgery. But let me tell you how powerful this young woman is. She was so good at semis, she made it to finals.
With the tore up knee.
On a freaking broken knee.
With a dislocated knee?
And then when we made it to final, I heard that she made the team because we all watched her in the stands. When finals came, this was like the big show because
Right.
Dancing in front of judges. It's about 20 of them in this long table. It's 20 judges. You have some people from communications, from media. We have our sponsors. We have people from iHeartRadio. You know, like some players.
Right.
I think it was like two players who was also judges that that particular day. Just like like amongst the people, and then there was also Nicole Tepper was also one of the judges. And then behind the 20 judges were the alumni Top Cat, Cheerleader.
Okay.
So just to see them behind the judges watching you dance, I'm like, oh my God, these are the same women who were in those programs.
Programs.
This entire time. And I had about thousands of those because I was collecting those just for them. So it was my turn because my homegirl Kiasha, shout out to you. I love you, sis. She tried out when I say she ate it down with a broken knee. Dislocated knee.
Wow.
And she made the team.
Wow.
Let me tell you how powerful God is. So I went out there and I danced, right? And before I can even get into the choreography, we have to answer a question. Some people, were asked, like, who's the commissioner of the NFL? Who doesn't know that? That's Roger Goodell.
Right.
But you have some people who don't. Just like I tell a lot of girls and boys, if you're gonna try for a team, you need to know the history. You need to know the past.
Yep.
You need to know the defensive, at least 5 people from the defensive line, offensive line, the quarterback, who's the president, who's the vice president, who's over communications. You need to know this stuff. It's not about the glitz and the glamour, wearing shaking pom-poms, dropping it low. It's not about that. It's about you being an example of, the organization.
Yeah. Organization. Right. Correct.
Part of it. Nobody just wants to go up to a pretty girl like, okay, like you can be pretty all day, but then you can be dumb as hell. So, and we don't want that. They wanted people who actually know football.
You're right.
They asked me, and I don't know what it is in the atmosphere. They always ask me opinionated questions. They never ask me anything
Just
about
yes or no questions. Just yes or no questions.
because they know I know football. So they was just like, hell, I played it. I did the sport. But they asked me, why do you want to be I think they said, like, why do you want to be a top cat? I think that's what they asked me. And I said, well, I want to be a top cat because I think everyone, every gender, every race should have the opportunity to be themselves and be in a space that they are able to, dance their heart out, something like that of that sort.
Right.
Thank you for that question. Walk over there to my spot, and then the music starts. Mind you, 6 years now.
6 years, straight off the couch.
I don't went through prelims. I don't went to semis. Now I've had so it all comes down to this moment.
Yep, moment.
I am so nervous. I am so nervous. But I just said, I think I remember just saying, I remember saying a prayer to God, and I just said, Lord, I know me and you don't have a relationship right now, but Lord, I'm just asking you, please, to let this happen for me. And when I tell you, I don't know what came over me. All I know is that as soon as that like that music dropped, that was it. We didn't know anything, and like that day, we all just try out and then we all leave. Fast forward, we end up. It's about like the coach took about like a week or whatever, like a week or two to like let us know.
Yeah.
So I'm driving my car and I'm like, I think I'm in like Huntersville somewhere, and that's like a nice little area in North Carolina. So I'm driving my car on these little tiny roads, and everybody is getting a phone call, about like who made the team or whatnot. And
Right.
so, I'm waiting on the phone. I'm waiting like on the phone, but I'm also like, mind you, I forgot to say this. On my audition tape or application, I gave them my old number.
Yeah.
So they never had my new number.
Whoa.
If I made it, I wouldn't have known.
How would you even find out? Correct. Wow. Whoa.
So I'm driving in the car and everybody is finding out they made the team. And so something said, check your DMs on my Instagram. And I get a DM and it says, hey, call me. I didn't know who this woman was. I knew this was the coach, but I'm like, did I do something wrong?
Right.
So she said, call me. So I said, okay, cool, no problem. So I called her and she said, hey, I've been trying to reach you. Mind you, I'm driving in the car and I passed this church and she said, hey, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm driving, just working or whatever. So she said, well, can you pull over? So I said, okay, fine. So I pull over inside the church. Mind you, there's people standing outside, but I just didn't like pay them no attention.
Right.
And they were literally like, she said, well, I just want to say congratulations. You made the team. And then I just get out of the car and I just started jumping up and down. And the people at the church was looking at me, they're like, what's going on? But I'm not even focused on them. I'm just so happy to hear the news.
Right.
Ended up just getting back in the car and I just drove off. And I think I ended up calling my grandmother. I called my mom. I called everybody. And then that was much it.
We can do some. Bro, keep talking that shit, you just might move some. Apply that pressure. Apply that pressure.